Why are more and more Canadians beginning to resent Indians? People are racist. It's not politically correct to say it, but if you want to get away with murdering, you kill an Indian because we don't get justice. The answer lies not in a single event, but in a pattern of cultural, social, and demographic shifts that are reshaping Canadian life at remarkable speed. For decades, Canada prided itself on being one of the most welcoming nations on earth, a country built on immigration, diversity, and tolerance. Yet beneath the surface of polite smiles and political speeches, a growing unease has taken root. The spark often comes from symbols that feel impossible to ignore. I am Canadian. You relax. It doesn't matter, we're all Canadian. No, you're not Canadian. In August 2024, thousands of Indian Canadians gathered in Mississauga for the unveiling of a 50-foot Hindu deity statue, rising nearly 60 feet with its base. Declared the tallest of its kind in North America, it was placed deliberately near Toronto's Pearson International Airport, ensuring that every new arrival to the city would see it first. Snowdrum will soon greet passengers as one of the first sights of the city. For the Hindu community, it was a proud declaration of belonging, a cultural landmark that says, "We are here, and we are here to stay." But for many Canadians, the reaction was starkly different. Online forums filled with complaints. This isn't multiculturalism, it's a cultural takeover. Local neighborhoods echoed similar whispers, now louder than ever before. To them, these towering monuments were not just statues, but signs of a demographic transformation that seemed to leave longtime residents feeling like outsiders in their own home. We're going to their country. We will have to adapt to their culture, right? They should do the same thing here. Why can feel like I'm a stranger in my own country? This was not the first instance. In 2023, Brampton unveiled another massive figure, a 55-foot Hanuman statue, which sparked similar debates. For critics, each new structure reinforced the fear that Canada's cultural balance was shifting irreversibly, that immigration was no longer about blending in, but about reshaping the landscape altogether. So this is Toronto, giant Hanuman monkey statue. They have to go back. This can't continue. So today we will uncover, are these statues a harmless celebration of culture? Or are they signs of something much larger? A demographic and cultural shift that is making Canadians feel like strangers in their own home. Before we move on, I have a small request. If you're enjoying this discussion, please share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support really helps us keep going. Thank you. Now, before anyone jumps to conclusions, let's make something clear. Immigrants, whether Indian, Chinese, or anyone else, are simply doing what's rational. They want a better life. They want opportunities. They want to bring their families along. Who wouldn't? The real issue isn't the people themselves. It's the government policies that open the floodgates without preparing society to handle the consequences. Ottawa has been bringing in over 1 million newcomers every single year, between permanent residents, international students, and temporary workers. Indians make up the largest share by far. By 2025, Canada's Indian immigrant population is projected to reach around 2 million people, more than 5% of the entire country. And that's not counting students or undocumented migrants. But here's where Canadians are angry. There's no real integration plan, no requirements to learn French or English properly, no policies ensuring communities mix together. Instead, Canada has created what many call parallel societies, enclaves where people live, work, and study entirely within their own cultural bubble. If you ask the average Canadian on the street why tensions are rising, the first thing they'll say is housing. They're homeless right now. Why? Not the race I'm worried about. For decades, Canada was known for affordable suburban homes. But in the last 10 years, housing prices have exploded. In Toronto and Vancouver, even small starter homes cost over $1 million. And rents? Out of control. Why? A huge factor is population growth. When 320,000 Indian students arrived in 2023 alone, They all needed places to live. Families rent entire houses and sublet to multiple students. Investors pool money together to buy properties. Locals complain that bidding wars are driving them out of the market. Walk through Brampton, Surrey, or Scarborough, and you'll hear it again and again. We can't compete. We can't afford to live in our own neighborhoods anymore. To an undergraduate degree for the master's degree and legitimately unemployable. This isn't just an economic issue, it's personal. Canadians feel like they're being priced out of their own communities by newcomers who bring massive extended families and operate on a different system of collective financial support. Money is one thing, culture is another, and this is where resentment really bubbles over. Canadian culture has long been quiet, orderly, and reserved, while Indian communities often bring a louder, more family-centered lifestyle. Festivals mean late-night music, fireworks, and crowded streets. Neighborhoods in places like Brampton and Surrey often see cars parked across entire blocks during weddings or religious gatherings. For longtime Canadians, these disruptions feel like a disregard for local norms. The most infamous flashpoint came in July 2024, when videos showed newcomers using an Ontario beach as a makeshift bathroom. She's seen that they were using this as a washroom, this TikTok account claiming that her friend witnessed a group of beachgoers using their tent on the beach as a toilet. Public outrage was fierce, and later, Alberta health officials even shut down parts of Calling Lake Provincial Park Beach after finding unsafe bacteria levels in the water. Instead of clear condemnation, activists called criticism racist. Many Canadians were furious, not only about the unhygienic behavior, but about being told they couldn't even complain. Similar frustrations pop up on public transit and roads. Loud phone conversations on buses, cutting queues, and aggressive driving styles, especially in Peel region, where accident claims are among the highest in Ontario, have become stereotypes fueling resentment. Brampton drivers is now a meme, but for locals paying higher insurance premiums, it's no laughing matter. At the root of it all is a sense of silencing. Canadians feel that voicing concerns about cultural clashes risks being labeled as bigotry, so frustrations move underground, to online forums and anonymous groups, where resentment festers even more strongly. Another common complaint you'll hear is about driving habits. Insurance companies have reported that accident claims are 20 to 25% higher in Peel region, where Brampton, a city with one of the largest Indian immigrant populations, is located. Whether that's due to reckless driving styles, inexperience with Canadian winter roads, or outright fraud in licensing exams, a problem uncovered in several driving schools, the perception has stuck. In fact, Brampton drivers are now the most expensive to insure in Ontario, with average premiums topping $2,500 a year compared to the provincial average of around $1,700. And fair or not, every time a high-profile crash involves a newcomer, like the 2023 Highway 401 pileup that was widely shared online, the stereotype deepens. For locals, it's not just about jokes or internet memes. Higher premiums hit their wallets directly. Residents who have never had an accident are paying more simply because of where they live, and that fuels resentment, with many openly blaming the influx of new drivers from South Asia. Canadians are proud of their public systems, free healthcare, subsidized universities, and affordable transit. But in 2024 and 2025, they're buckling under pressure. Healthcare is the hardest hit. Emergency room waits in Ontario now average 20 hours. In over 6.5 million Canadians, 17% of the population don't have a family doctor. Many blame the surge of newcomers for stretching the system beyond capacity. Education tells a similar story. In 2023, more than 320,000 Indian students arrived, swelling classrooms and student housing to the breaking point. In some Toronto programs, nearly half the students are international, leaving locals feeling squeezed out. Transit, too, is overcrowded. Complaints of noise, packed buses, and cultural clashes in etiquette are common. On paper, poor planning is part of the problem, but for the average Canadian, waiting hours in an ER or crammed into a subway, The connection is simple. Too many people. Too fast. There's also the ugly side. Immigration scams, fake colleges, and fraudulent job offers have made headlines, and many are tied to bad actors within the Indian diaspora. That 20% of job offer files are questionable, and he says the solution is better enforcement. In 2023, the Canadian Border Services Agency uncovered hundreds of fake admission letters that had let Indian students into the country under false pretenses. Instead of swift deportations, the government stalled, fearing political backlash. To many Canadians, it looked like a double standard. Newcomers bending the rules still got sympathy, while locals playing fair felt ignored. Financial fraud adds to the resentment. Phone scams and call centers traced to India regularly target elderly Canadians, costing victims millions each year. The RCMP has repeatedly issued warnings, but the stereotype has taken hold. India equals fraud. And when Canadians open the news to see yet another scam or fake college racket exposed, trust erodes further. Even though the majority of immigrants are honest, the bad headlines overshadow the good stories, leaving a sour taste in the public mind. Perhaps the most emotional complaint isn't about jobs, houses, or even scams. It's about identity. It's not our fault that white people are lazy, okay? We are just saying the truth as it is. In cities like Brampton, Indians now make up nearly 50% of the population. Walk down the street and signs are in Punjabi, Hindi, or Gujarati. Restaurants serve Indian food on every corner. Local politics revolves around issues back in Punjab, more than issues in Ottawa. For some Canadians, this is multiculturalism at its best. For others, it's multiculturalism gone too far. They feel like entire cities have been transformed into another country, and that they no longer recognize the place they grew up in. This isn't just anecdotal. Polling shows a rising share of Canadians believe immigration levels are too high. For a country that once prided itself on welcoming the world, that's a dramatic shift in public opinion. So let's bring this all together. Why are some Canadians starting to resent Indians? It's not one thing.
I'm being aggressive to you because too many Indians are in Canada, and I want you to go back.
It's a cocktail of economic pain, cultural friction, political correctness, and rapid demographic change. Housing is unaffordable. Jobs feel scarce. Roads feel less safe. Hospitals are overcrowded. And in the middle of it all, Canadians feel silenced, told they can't even voice concerns without being branded as racist. The truth is, Indians are simply doing what makes sense for their families. They are using unity, family networks, and sheer determination to get ahead. The real blame, many argue, lies with the Canadian government for failing to set limits, for refusing to require integration, and for ignoring the mounting frustrations of its own citizens. This isn't really about a statue in Mississauga. It isn't even about Indians versus Canadians. It's about the future of Canada itself. Is Canada a nation that can balance immigration with integration? Or is it a nation that will fracture into parallel societies? Can it maintain its own culture while embracing others? Or will it slowly transform into something unrecognizable to its own people? Right now, many Canadians fear the latter. They fear losing their voice, their identity, their homes, and their sense of belonging. And unless the government listens, unless there's a serious national conversation about what integration really means, the resentment will keep growing. And maybe, just maybe, the Canada we knew will disappear faster than anyone imagined. If you like this video, please subscribe. Thank you for watching.